Okay, so today we're going to be looking at how to use a jujutsu lock called wakigatami for self-defense. Now, wakigatami is basically an arm lock that you use in traditional Japanese martial arts. So what we're going to do is talk about what wakigatami is and how you can utilize this particular technique for self-defense. Mr. McLean, come on in. Mr. McLean's going to be my uke for this particular video. Yeah. So the first thing we need to talk about is what is wakigatami. So let's do that. So Mr. McLean's going to put his hand right up here. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to take our arm and we're going to be going over the top of this arm in this direction, locking out the elbow just like this, right? Now, this particular lock is taught in all traditional jujutsu as well as judo. Now, in judo, they do this particular lock, or what's also called Kansetsu-waza. So sometimes different traditional jujutsu schools, or even judo, aikido, jujutsu, you'll hear the term Kansetsu-waza. Kansetsu-waza just means like joint locking techniques, okay? So if we look at this particular technique, again, one more time, when I go over the top, I'm going to counter grab when I go over the top of the arm to get this wakigatami, this elbow lock, this arm lock. In traditional judo, what they'll do is they'll kick their leg out like this and they'll take it all the way down to the ground, pinning them face first on the floor to lock out this particular arm. Now, from a self-defense perspective, I don't think that's a smart technique to do, so we're not utilizing wakigatami as a takedown to then pin them to the ground. That's not the way we're going to utilize this particular technique. We're going to be using wakigatami to then lock the arm out, which opens up different options that we can utilize for our self-defense. So let's look at option number one. So Mr. McLean's going to grab, he's got this hand up like a punch, like he's getting ready to punch. Obviously, I do not want to go the direction of his hand because then he could just punch. I want to get away from the punch, right? So technique number one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step to the outside. I'm going to counter grab with my right, this particular grab. So cross grab, and as I step to the outside, I'm going to throw an elbow shot to the jaw, striking him in the face. Now as I strike to the elbow shot, I'm pushing down here, just like that. Now as I get that arm lock, I'm going to throw a second elbow shot to the head, smack it in this direction. I can push, and then I can evade this way as long as I've created the distance. So let's look at that first one again. Technique number one. He's going to grab. Once I see his hand come up as this, I'm going to step to the outside, strike with an elbow, lock his arm out, another elbow shot here, and then move out this direction. In this technique, we're just going to go right to the lock. Now, I counter grab, I'm going to maneuver the hand over as I step, lock. Now for here, we're going to throw that shot. As I throw the elbow shot here, this can be as many elbow shots as we need, but once we feel like we've got the situation under control, to finish the technique, the hand or the arm that you're doing the elbow with checks the hand down, then you throw a gyaku to the face, and then we cover back out. Again, I'm going to counter grab, go to the outside, I immediately go to lock. I lock, and then I'm going to throw an elbow shot here. Now again, those elbow shots can be as many as possible, but once I feel like I got the situation under control, I check the hand down, I throw a gyaku right here, and then I cover back out. Okay, so now let's look at a third option, okay? Now this option is going to be probably the most complicated because we're going to utilize not just multiple types of strikes, but also successional strikes. So in this particular technique, again, we're going to start the same way. All of these techniques that we're working on today start from an individual. They're coming up to grab, they got their hand up in a threatening position to throw a strike. Now generally, the grab is for two reasons. One, they're grabbing you because they want to control you, or they're grabbing you because they want to keep you in check so they know exactly where that punch is going to be, so they know the distance. Regardless of why they're doing this, these techniques are going to work regardless of the intent of the grab. Now, for the third technique we're going to work on today, as soon as he grabs, again, we're going with the counter grab. We're going right back to that elbow to the jaw. So as soon as he grabs on, his hand's up, counter grab, elbow shot, bang! Now from there, I get the lock. I'm then going to use a rising heel kick to the groin this way, and then I'm going to check the hand down and gyaku to the face. And then we'll cover back out. Again, one more time, looking at the third option here, the third technique for the day. I'm going to counter grab, step in with an elbow shot, lock the arm, kick the groin, strike to the face, and then we're covering back out. Okay, so there you guys go. There is how you can use the jujutsu lock wakigatami in a self-defense situation. When you use wakigatami, it's really important that you know you got to work on body alignment, body angling and timing. But if you can actually get this skill down and you can master the skills of joint locking and you can actually learn this technique of wakigatami, it's a great technique to use in self-defense.